So we're continuing our discussion of the record navigation feature pack for the Dialog component, and we've just shown how you can add a list view navigator to the Dialog. But the list view right now is only showing a single column, which is last name and first name, and that's the exact same data that is being displayed in the slider message box. But let's say we'd also like to go now and display some additional columns of information in the list view to help us more accurately identify the record that we would like to populate the Dialog with. So we'll go back to design mode now and go back and edit this action, and you can see now we can go now and add some additional fields to the primary key description. So I'm going to go now and then add in some additional fields. This is going to be column 2, and let's say here we'd like to basically display the state, and then let's add another field, and in this field we'd like to display, say, the company name. So I'll go back here and I'll call this state, and then I'll go there and I'll call this one company. Now currently all three columns are exactly the same width. You can see that their column width is set to 1R. R stands for relative width, but we would like to make the first column, the one that has the full name, the widest column. So I'm going to go there and make that 3R. Then I'd like this one to be only 1R, which means that this column will be 1/3 of the size of this column, or this column is 3 times the size of that column over there. And now I'd like this one to be, say, 2R. So we've now set the relative size of each of the columns in this list, and then go ahead now and then save it, and then go over to working preview. And so now you can see that I've got basically additional information that is describing the primary key of each record in the database, but the slider only displays, of course, one column, the data from the first column over here. So we've now basically added additional functionality to this list view over here. So next now I'm going to go and actually go back to server-side action scripting and add in an action that lets me commit the data to the underlying table. So I'll go back now to design mode and then go to server-side events, and in the after dialog validate event I'd like to save the data. So I'm going to go now and go action scripting, and I'm going to choose save, and I'll just go save data. The name that I choose here is irrelevant, it just needs to be unique, and I'll say after I save I'd like to just edit the record that was just submitted. So then go ahead there and press OK and then save it. So this is now going to allow me to save any changes that I make, and but you'll notice that if I make a change to any field that shows up in the list, the change is not reflected immediately in the list. So let's check that out. So let's go to Grahamson over there and change that, and then hit the submit button. So we've now made a submission to the database, and we've you can see if I click off that record and then come back, you can see it says Graham, but the list here hasn't updated. So let's go and add a button that will refresh this list. So I'm going to go back now to design mode and add a little hyperlink underneath this list view control that does a an Ajax callback to refresh the content of the list. So we'll pause now and pick this up in the next video.